Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. And keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy.
All right, folks, here we are on Wednesday, July 10th. We're going to take a look at Nikola today. So it's been quite a while since we checked in on old Nikola. Certainly pre this split for sure. So I put in some new levels that sort of align with the split levels and wanted to come take a look. Now, what's interesting to me is a couple of possibilities. One, I'm wondering if we're putting in sort of a lazy looking kind of cup and handle here. Maybe. That's one thing. The other question is if that breaks down and we don't get the cup and handle here, I do wonder if it does continue to dip, be it, like this, or be it, way out here, or be it, like that, whatever it is. If it does come down in sort of double bottoms, if you will, around that 740 level. Now, it could certainly stretch down to that true 725 bottom level, but that 740 looks maybe a bit more in line with me. So I'd be interested to see if that happens. Now, percentage-wise, that's quite a dip from where it is currently. But again, that's sort of in the case that the cup and handle breaks down. I do wonder if it double bottoms somewhere along here. A second opportunity for it to double bottom would be maybe around like 820 if it doesn't want to come all the way down to that like 740 level. And then it would just be sort of like a bit of a micro double bottom within a larger swing. But in any case, that's sort of caught my eye, and I kind of thought, that could be interesting because there's so much room here to move if it wants to move. Now, Nikola being what it is, and yes, I know that these are post-split levels, but being that this is the history, whatever the price points are, take the price points out of it. This is the trajectory. This is the history of Nikola. And so, the trajectory being what it is, I would expect that it couldn't just be a chart driven or even sort of fevered retail buy-in driven run. I would expect that there would need to be something that sort of instills or I was going to say reinstills, but that's probably not the case, but instills confidence in institutional buyers, large-scale buyers, retail, et cetera, et cetera. And if that could happen, like we saw maybe with SoundHound today, the opposite of what we've seen with Fisker, maybe that gives an opportunity for it to start to build through these levels again. But I think it's probably going to have a bit of a tough go sort of trying to work off of anything other than some sort of more meaningful catalyst. At least if it's going to build through that, say, 14.5-ish level. 14.5 to 15, maybe it could get there off of just some chart action, some sort of buying power coming in from retail, some fevered frenzy, whatever it is. But, that would then sort of fall apart and crumble. But if there is some potential good news that comes about that actually feels like it's fundamentally sound and provides something sort of meaningful that is antithetical to the previous news that has come out that has caused the chart to look like this over time, then maybe some of these levels start to come into play. But setting all that aside, purely from a chart perspective, could this be a cup and handle? Maybe. If not, again, if it does break down further, could that sort of, like I said, 820-ish level down to 740 level come into play and sort of build off of something resembling a double bottom? Now, keeping on the theme of just the chart, look where the EMAs are. It's trying to build, right? It shrugged off of that the 21 EMA, that sort of peach color, which, I don't feel is great, but these EMAs aren't that far away from each other, especially with a relatively volatile stock. That 183 is forever away. But, could it get some bullish crossover motion going here? that's sort of what I'm wondering. It's kind of trying to build a candle body, even though it wicked through it today. It's trying to build a candle body over that 8 EMA. And so that's sort of what I'm wondering. And the good thing about that is that that will either happen or it won't really quickly. And so you won't have to wait and wait and wait and wait for that sort of question to be answered. Now on the Thinkorswim side of things, I know this looks like a mess, but let's zoom in. Let's just take it from the top down and it will look a little bit cleaner. So the price action here is just compressed and is a mess, and that's just the case. So don't worry about that for the moment. Just look at these ATR levels. So it's situated right here at the mid range. So between the call trigger and the put trigger. Now these are so far away, right? The put trigger is actually in the negative. So, being that that's the case, I'm not too worried about that for the moment. It needs to get sort of on some sort of solid ground and footing with these post-split levels, and then maybe some of those things will come more into play. So if we just look at the channel setup as it currently sits, we had mentioned that it shrugged off of that 21 EMA. We see here the setup looks such that it was treating the lower bound of the channel as resistance, which is not a great sign if you're a bull ever. But it was able to pull back into the channel in sort of one fell swoop, meaning it didn't get this candle body in there and then fail. It did make a run directly at the mid-range of the channel and pushed off of it for the time being. So that's sort of, the same situation that we're looking at on the other chart. Now a histogram on the TTM squeeze indicator showing that it's sort of reducing the bearish momentum. I don't want to say it's picking up the bullish momentum just yet, but it's reducing the bearish momentum. And it is sort of getting a lengthy play out from this previous trigger and fire. That's still what's playing out here. So do we get some sort of stickiness, some capability of sort of attaching itself near or to the mid-range of the channel, which is that bright blue line, which right now is situated at 1086. Could it do that, and could it start to then, just kill off the rest of this bearish momentum, and then at some point start to put in a fresh trigger? Because this trigger and fire was a pretty good call out, actually, right? Triggered all along the lower mid-range of the channel, and then when it fired, it just fell through the channel. So that brought it from, say, 15 or so, post-split, post-reverse split sort of numbers, down all the way to 725, right? That's a huge, huge percentage down. So good call out there by the TTM squeeze indicator. So if I am a Nikola bull, what I'm looking for is action to maintain right around the mid-range of the channel here, and for it to just die off the rest of this bearish momentum, and then put in a fresh set of trigger candles and then see where the fire goes. That at least gives it an opportunity. Again, that's just from a chart perspective. I still do think that, setting the chart mechanisms aside, you do need some sort of fundamental catalyst that is meaningful in a way that it is an affront to all of the bearish catalysts and bearish sentiment that has surrounded Nikola for quite some time. So we'll see how it plays out. We'll see if this cup and handle amounts to anything. We'll see if we get anything resembling a double bottom. We'll see if we get a further breakdown below 725 and sort of what that means, and kind of go from there. See if we do get any catalysts forming in the near future. Of course, you have earnings coming up, soon-ish, not super soon, but soon-ish. All right, folks, I hope that you've had a happy hump day, and as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.